Welcome back to HitPoint, a JRPG news show, an anime news show, a JRPG discussion show, a show where Baku and I will talk about anything and everything that catches our interest or ire over the course of the last week. We broadcast live every single Sunday. Wait, is it Monday again? Every single Monday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be previewing trailers, talking about rumors. We'll be discussing various topics of discussion that we find discussable. Baku, how are you doing, buddy?
Oh boy, I'm doing pretty good. Just ate a lot of meat.
Nice.
My little nephew's birthday yesterday, and he decided to take us back to Korean barbecue. So, we ate too much.
Oh man,
It's really good, but it was a lot of meat.
Oh yeah, we will also be responding to super chats and other comments at the end of the show. So yes, keep your eyes peeled for that. Now, welcome back. We did not stream yesterday, as Baku stated, because birthdays continue en masse for some reason. I know, It's crazy. It's like everybody. What was 9 months ago? The November, I guess. So. some cold winter months, So anyways, I will be having a birthday here pretty soon in about a week and a half, about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks from now. So, but it falls on a Saturday, so I don't think we'll be interrupted by that. But we'll play it by ear. We'll see what happens. But anyways, man, it is good to see you again, man. How are you doing?
Yep. Likewise, man. Just finished playing this one game called what is it called? Keep a Strip.
Yes.
So we talked about it on the show too, like where the developers released this game in 2013, and then in 2023 they're like, oh yeah, let's give you a DLC 10 years later, and people was just like, what? Why? So I did it. I played the game. It was fun. Just took 2 streams, get it done, and now we're back to Persona 5 Royal.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Persona 5. Like, I can see why people really like that.
How did you enjoy the diversion through Akiba's trip, the DLC after all of these years?
I was playing the game. I was like, boy, this game plays like a 2013 game.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a lot of like mechanics. I'm just like, oh god, this is so bad. This is so bad. But yeah, so I think the story is like a director's cut, kind of basically.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have time to work it in. I think they kept most of the original story because the story plays out, and I'm like, wow, this story is pretty bad. I can see why they cut it out, but I'm glad they added back in, and now the game feels complete. That's all as well. We only had to wait 10 years to do it.
Oh, that's right, because it was one of the characters is like the only character not to receive their own like side mission or side content.
Yeah,
right?
They didn't have their own ending. Like all these other characters that has their ending, except for one, for whatever reason, they decided to not give this, very important character their own ending. I was just like, what? Why did you decide to do that? Yeah, now there's this whole story for it, but I'll tell you about it later. How about you, man? What'd you do this weekend?
This whole week has been
this whole week.
A bit. The whole week has been a little bit. Gosh. So last week kind of started with a mind-blowing experience of doing an unboxing of a bunch of things that some things that I bought. And a lot of things that people sent to me. And some of those things were like the collector's edition, the premium collector's edition of Sword and Fairy that I got from Serenity Forge. Yeah.
Ooh.
One of them was a game I bought myself. It was the limited edition of Trails into Reverie. I'm very excited about that. And then there was also my Valimar Gunpla. I finally unboxed that. I haven't put it together yet. It's going to be a longer term project, I think. And then John from the Detecting Zone sent me a gigantic box. I mean, it was a pretty good sized box, but it was full of a gigantic amount of games, of PSP games that just I'm still blown away by it. It's ridiculous and way overkill, but it was a fun video to put together. So that came out on Wednesday, and then put out a review, first impressions video talking about 8-Bit Adventures 2, which came out from Critical Games. It's a indie RPG that has a protagonist who bears a striking resemblance to me, but I've been told by the developer that any likeness, any similarities in both terms of like the hair floof in front, as well as like any similarities as far as level of like 6-pack that I'm rocking or swords or anything that I wield masterfully, completely coincidental. So I have been told that is just a pure coincidence. But I'm in an RPG, and it is 8-Bit Adventures 2. They
have consulted their legal team. They're like, look, we have to say this for legal reasons.
It's a legally distinct Charlie is what he's actually
Charlie.
Called.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe he could be Super Charlie in another life.
Super Charlie.
But that came out on Friday, and that was a lot of fun. And I got to spend a whole lot of extra time tinkering around with getting it to work on a 240p Sony PVM CRT television, which was kind of a wild ride, and it still is. I got it working in composite video output, but it's also really convoluted. So I'm working on streamlining that process, and when I got it nailed down and easily reproducible, maybe I'll make a video out of that. But for the time being, I got a good stuff planned for this week. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys will stick around and find it when it comes out, because just a lot of things going on this week. Some of the stuff behind the scenes, but we got a lot to look forward to, I think.
My body's ready.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. But is it ready for
the question of the week?
I knew that was coming. Damn it, I knew that was coming.
This one comes in from last week. It's the pixels versus polys. Which do you prefer? We're talking 2D versus 3D, yes. It's a classic war that is waged for years and has even spilled over into the waifu wars from time to time. But
yes.
But we do have a lot of responses from last week. So it was pretty well split, pretty even, but I do think that one side did win out over the other, at least in the comments section. So we'll just kind of recap some of those responses that we got, starting from Japanimation Man, who says that they really like cel-shaded polygons, especially such as games like Persona 5. And I have a really soft spot for those as well, especially like Dark Cloud 2 is one of my favorites of all time. Jet Grind Radio, not an RPG at all, but man, it has some incredible cel-shaded art that just ages really well. I feel like the way that cel-shaded polygons age is kind of akin to how pixel art ages. Like there's something very, I don't know, something very, like it's
graceful.
Not, yes, it is. It's not trying to reproduce like photorealistic imagery or anything like that. I feel like whenever video games try to go after that photorealistic look, they look good at first. And then you go back and look at it like 10, 20 years later, and you're like, I thought that looked real. You remember playing 007 GoldenEye back in the day, and like you'd shoot the things and they would explode, and you're like, oh my God, the explosions look so real.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my God, it's indistinguishable from reality. This is what real life looks
future.
Like. In the future is 64 bits. So, man, so that is one person who really prefers. Well, they'll be back here in a minute again. But that's one person who mentioned some nice things about cel-shaded 3D. Okay. Rei Miyazaki, who we also spoke about in the last episode, they also prefer 3D. They've mentioned games like Nier Automata and Ryza.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, it's totally. But we got a lot of people who prefer them pixels, starting with Dusty B, who mentions games like Muramasa, the Demon Blade by Vanillaware and other Vanillaware games. And I think
Beautiful.
Vanillaware came up actually a few times. Japanimation Man was on both sides of the aisle, as it turns out, because he also stated that his true preference is for higher res 2D sprite animations. And they mentioned games like Streets of Rage 4, King of Fighters 12, and King of Fighters 13, which I totally get that. But they also mentioned that that just doesn't exist in RPG form, at least as far as we know. Yeah, I could totally see that. I personally also really like high res pixel art in my RPGs. I think that the game that really stands out to me that exhibits that is probably Breath of Fire 4, I think, is what I would say is probably the pinnacle, I think, at least for now. But who knows? Maybe that'll change. Joger mentioned liking both, but he actually has difficulty with, they mentioned something about HD 2D. I think they mentioned that they can't see HD 2D anymore, and I'm not sure what that means exactly. But I think maybe it means that they just like them both so much that there's no difference to them. I don't know.
Maybe.
Lowest Expectations mentions 2D gameplay positively. It mentioned games like the Golden Sun games, Trails in the Sky. Yeah, pretty
Those
solid
all
picks
good
there.
stuff. Yeah.
Nostalgic Nick expresses love for pixel art. Doesn't mention a specific game though, sadly. So, and then Vaporwave also mentions that they prefer the 2D. So they also mentioned Crimson as well as probably Chained Echoes and Triangle Strategy. So, and then there were some people who just could not pick a side. So like the Ninja Mouse, who says that they hate to pick, but they did mention that it's easier to mess up polygons. So
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much right. But Baku, I think it's time for you and I to weigh in on what our thoughts are.
Oh,
I took on talking about all these so I could give you time because I knew you'd know what was coming this time.
This time around, yes. 2D versus 3D. Look, I feel like I could just cop out and be like, oh yeah, I like both. And truly, it's they both have their, strengths and weaknesses, right?
Yeah, but who has time for nuance? We need hot takes.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's why I'm about to just say 2D. I am definitely in the 2D camp. I like, if I can claim HD 2D, then it's a pretty hands down win. But if you say, hey, that's kind of half and half, that's not really fair, I will take pure 2D. Yeah. No, I mean, I'll take pure 2D.
Sure.
Like 2D, like platformers, 2D RPGs, like, I'll play like Terranigma all day.
Yeah.
Like they're just, I don't know. There's something about games that from like the 2D era that just has a little bit more replayability for me. I don't know why. But the 3D games, whenever I think about playing 3D games, it's always like New Game Plus, and then you fight some super boss and or do some Coliseum or something, and that's pretty much it. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is about the 3D game, not just the aesthetics, but like the 3D games themselves that don't have a whole lot of extra things for me to do. I don't know what it is.
Do you wonder if especially because if we're talking retro, developers at the time were definitely spending a lot of efforts wrapping their heads around how to do polygons right.
Yeah.
And so it probably took a little bit of extra work because, if you think about it, the functional difference between NES to SNES is like, oh, we have more colors, but the way we design games doesn't fundamentally change. But going from SNES to PlayStation 1, there's some fundamental changes gotta go on if you're going to be doing the 3D thing. And many companies died by that change.
Oh, geez, yeah. Ooh, that change was not pretty.
You mentioned Terranigma, and Terranigma was one of the pinnacle games of the 2D era, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The developer of them went on to make the Grand Stream Saga, the very first fully polygonal RPG on the PlayStation 1.
How did that go?
Poorly. Very poorly. it's hard to go back. I'll say that much.
God,
So
that's so unfortunate.
I know, and it was the last game they ever made. Coincidence? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Also, 2D we have Vanillaware. Vanillaware games are just gorgeous.
Man, if only
Best looking.
if only they went a little bit further in the direction of like Alundra on PlayStation 1 instead. If they just continued doing what they knew how to do, man. Oh, man.
Like more adventure kind of game, but just like a little bit 3D, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Don't go full on 3D, just a little.
So I too am going to pick a side, but it's a side that didn't really offer, I guess, intentionally or not. It occurred to me that 2D and 3D are not necessarily like mutually exclusive, especially around the turn of the transition from PlayStation or from Super Nintendo into PlayStation. Games like Grandia, in particular, which featured polygonal worlds, 2D sprites. You know, I think that Breath of Fire 3 is also a shining example of that, as is Breath of Fire 4, which I said earlier has some of the best sprite-based work on the PlayStation, right? Especially in an RPG, hands down. But it does have polygonal graphics like that you rotate the world around in. So it's like, it's not really, I guess it is a bit of a false dichotomy.
So you just admit that this question is
poorly
not
thought out.
great.
It's very poorly thought out. I own up to that wholly. And I feel bad for all you suckers who I made. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I will say that I think if I had to go, if I had to omit that
one had
area,
to go.
Yeah.
Okay, one has to go. You can only get to keep one.
Yeah, that's going to be 2D.
Yes.
Yep. Because
2D wins.
I mean, like others have said, you can mess up 3D pretty easily. I mean, you can also mess up pixels, but it takes you gotta be. I don't know. Paladin's Quest, man, is it's actually kind of a pretty looking game, but man, it can be jarring. Like there are bad examples, and I chose a bad example here, but
yeah.
Okay, Lord of the Rings Volume 1 on SNES. A tragic looking game. Plays as well as it looks, in fact.
I mean, if we can compare worst to worst and best to best, then you know, like I guess we can make that comparison. But yeah, that's I mean, because best to worst, it's like that's not really fair, right? Like pick your top picks, right? And just kind of go head to head. But yeah, no, I'd still prefer 2D, like hands down. Like they've made some really gorgeous like cell shade, well, not cell shade, like a lot of these like animation that existed previously as, you know, just like anime, like they've managed to turn that into like basically the entire aesthetics. It's not even about like pixels, it's just, it's still 2D. It's just like playable anime. They've gotten to that point now.
I mean, like,
you know,
are you including games like oh god, what was it, the Dragon Ball Z Fighters in that like mental calculus? It is technically polygonal, but it displays as a 2D drawing.
Yeah, that one is one of those gray area, because like I watched a whole video on someone breaking down Arxis, like the people who mixed the Dragon Ball game and the one who did the like Guilty Gear. Yeah, so they basically did a breakdown on like why do their models move so nicely compared to like a purely 3D like model.
Yeah,
like,
what do they do
about
different
it
to make it look good?
Yeah, and boy, like it's a whole bunch of things, but basically in order to conserve the 2D sort of fighter look with 3D models, they had to pull a lot of tricks, and a lot of it is just super ingenious. It's a lot of work, But man, no one does it quite like them. They look amazing. I highly recommend it. I forgot who did it, but it's just like professional like graphics designer kind of person who's like, okay, let's break down the character models and the graphics and why they, what they did, why they are able to do what they did.
It's not simple enough to just like do it in a low frame rate. I mean, sure, that helps, but you also have to choose where your frames happen. Like that's a huge part of it. There's a really interesting video by a guy that I watch sometimes because his name is Noodle on YouTube. I recommend checking him out.
Noodle.
Yeah. Oh, he's got some great videos. One of them is actually talking about basically the problem that he has with using AI to interpolate new frames to increase animations to like 60 frames per second. That's I think his like big breakout video, and he's got some other really great ones from there. But in it, he talks about the importance of like pausing on certain frames that are really like that are really important to conveying motion properly. And when you just kind of distribute your frames equally, it does weird things and makes it look all sloppy. And imprecise, and animation is by definition a very precise thing. It's a very precise. It has to feel handmade. Otherwise, it just fails to look right. So, anyways, that's a whole other rabbit hole that we could go down some other time.
Oh yeah.
Before we do that, though, some other time, we do have one more question of the week. This time, it's way more well thought out than the last one because I took 2 whole minutes to think of it. And it wasn't even the first question that came to mind, okay?
Wow, that's double the time that you took from the last question.
That's right.
Impressive.
Yeah. And I even threw away the other question that was not nearly as interesting. Because this is the second question. And it is, when is hard mode worth it in games? And when is easy mode okay? Like, at what point do you prefer to play hard mode? But when is easy mode okay, or story mode as it's sometimes referred to nowadays?
Oh, easy.
Well,
answer.
You are not allowed to respond to it yet, though, Mr. Baku. You've got to sit on this until next week. So that's the question of the week for everybody else. Throw your responses in the comments down below, and Baku and I will reveal our inner monologues next time.
Yes.
This would be about the time I would normally talk about the voicemail that we would get over the weekend or so. But unfortunately, we did not actually get a voicemail this time around. But
darn it.
If anybody would like to leave us a voicemail, you may do so at 785-337-3805, and you could provide us a discussion topic of your own devising. That's right. And we'll talk about it. And
and you don't want to call us,
be on the show.
You can send us a file, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
At HitPoint at SuperDerekRPGs.com.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
I think that's about it for the pre-show stuff. It's time for the real meat and taters.
The taters.
What is taters, Precious?
Do you want to go? You want me to go?
I'll let you go. I don't like being the bearer of
bad news.
Yeah.
I keep making Derek do delays. It's like, Derek, you're going to tell people the delay and people are going to blame it on you. Okay, I'll do it. So we've got a delay coming up for Lollipop Chainsaw Remake. So Dragami Games announced that the Lollipop Chainsaw Remake release window will be moved from this year to the next. So no more 2023, but it's going to be 2024. Dragami also announced that the official title will be Lollipop Chainsaw RePOP. So that's the official title. It's got like a new logo and everything that goes along with it. I can't show you, but it's official now. They've got a new name for it. From their press release, although development of RePOP was carried out with the intention of a 2023 release. Our commitment to providing the best possible quality experience to our players led us to making the hard decision to extend the development period in order to ensure this. So, basically, delay will delay, and that's fine because I don't think we've even seen like a teaser trailer for this thing yet. So, yeah, I kind of don't care.
I care a little bit, but I am glad to hear that they're giving themselves a little more time to get ahead of this development.
Yeah, it's not like a big like, oh no, like if like
it's nothing to lose your head over.
Yeah, no, Sea of Stars other one where it's like, oh, by the way, we're delaying this to October. You're like, oh, like I was really looking forward to playing this. It's coming out at the end of this year. We haven't even gotten a teaser trailer for this RePOP yet, so it's kind of like, dude, set your date to whatever, man. It makes no difference to us, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the delay. Now we can move on to fun stuff. Fun stuff that I think you'd rather I cover.
All right.
I'm forcing these news into here because Derek doesn't care, but I do. So we've got two updates. Not delays, but updates. We've got two updates. Let's see here. And they both have to do with Hololive fan games. Starting off with the first one called Idol Showdown. It is a fighting fan game that's actually made its EVO debut about 10 days ago, which is kind of cool. So now it's going to become like a new EVO staple, a fan game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy. It's really picking up steam too. So version 2.0 is now out. Adds a new playable character, Usada Pekora, two new collab or like support characters. I don't know if you remember playing like, I don't know, one of those Street Fighter First Capcom games. Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Where like you pick two characters and then like the other character just kind of comes out and like does little attacks, like kind of like support attack characters. Yeah, so like two of those, a new stage and a bunch of updates. We do have a quick trailer for that, so people can take a look at those.
All right.
Yeah. It is a free game, so man, if anyone wants I think it also supports netcode.
Netcode for like online play, you mean?
Yeah, for online play over Steam. So.
Oh.
It's kind of cool because so here's what the developer originally did. They took voice clips from different streams from these characters, right?
Yeah.
And then they added it into the game as like, you know, fighting effect sounds. And then the game got really popular with the streamers, so then they all recorded sound during stream. And then the developer were watching the stream, grabbed the new clips, and then just updated it like the same day into the game.
Incredible.
Yeah, so pretty fun stuff. So yeah, this is the new new stage, I think, new character. And it's a free game, so whether or not you care about these characters, these streamers, it doesn't really matter. If you like fighting games and you just want a free game, there you go. And there are two other characters that are slated to come out sometime. Robot Neko, yes, that thing. Thunder, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I am not a huge fighting game fanatic, so I actually don't know too much about this. So I don't want to sound like I know, but I'm excited for you know, cool fan games that are coming out, and we can talk a little bit more about like fan games in a second. But let me just complete this piece.
Sure.
Now, perhaps the most popular of these fan games is the game called Holocure. We've talked about it a couple of times.
Sounds familiar.
zero point 0.6 is coming out on the 17th with 9 playable characters from the Hololive Indonesia. New stage, new items, weapons, something called a Hollow House, which basically acts like a farming simulator. You can do some farming and fishing in there. It's kind of weird what they've done, but it's all fun. And most importantly, this game is now available on Steam, whereas before it was on itch.io. It is now available on Steam, and for anyone who's played the itch.io version, the Steam version will actually automatically pick up where your save is from the itch.io version. So if you played this game before, you can switch right on to the Steam version. All you have to do is just get it on Steam and it'll find like the save file. So you don't have to like start like a new save and all that, which is very nice. Now you can actually transfer save between like, computers. Like sometimes I want to play on my desktop, so I want to play on my laptop. This game plays really well on the Steam Deck. So, that this could be a really fun game on the go. And we also have the trailer for this new update that's coming out.
All right, let's check it out. It stopped playing. Hang on.
Do you want me to hit play?
Nope, I got it.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So it's this kind of game where
it's like a Vampire Survivor.
Yeah, it's a Vampire Survivor game. But I think this goes way better than Vampire Survivor. Even
it
as
looks
a game,
way nicer.
It's better,
to be honest.
And it's free.
Nice.
Again, like whether or not you care about the character doesn't matter. It's a free game that plays really well is what I'm trying to tell y'all,
Yeah. I'm not trying to like cast a new shade at like Vampire Survivor, but every time I see it, I'm like, that looks not very interesting. This at least has some like personality that has, I don't know, something to draw me in.
Yeah,
giant cats and things, and
you know what? I think the enemies are kind of cute. Well, now there's also this. This is the Hollow House, so you can go there and apparently you can do like cooking and farming.
Hang on, is that like a? Is that? Oh, okay. That kind of sounded like a like an Animal Crossing intro. I wonder if that's the vibe they're going for here.
I'm pretty sure that's it. Pretty sure that's it. Yeah. So you can do farming. You can, I don't know, you can do a bunch of stuff. I haven't had a chance to play it yet because it's not coming out for another like day or two. But when it does, I'll be playing this. Yeah. You have your house and then you can kind of like build it out.
Yeah.
However you want.
I guess it's kind of like, if you have a game that everybody's playing and you want to make a different game, why not just include it into the game that everybody's playing? Just make it go crazy with
it. So there you go. I've recommended this game to people before who were playing the Vampire Survivor game. They're like, oh yeah, I'd like to try it, but it's not even on Steam. I kind of want it on Steam so I can like transfer the saves between devices. Well, now you can.
Yeah.
So there's literally no more excuses not trying this thing. So yes, again, this game is also free and it'll be coming out on Steam on the 17th.
All right.
Yes.
Well, that about does it for the games that were newly announced, or being updated, rather. Now it's time for some games that are coming out this week. Yeah.
Yay.
Brand new games.
Or came out, rather. So
yeah.
This one flew by my radar, unfortunately.
Well,
I didn't realize it came out until it came out.
Yeah. It's out. But you know what? Fly High Works and Secret Character just released their newest tactical RPG, Tactics RPGs, man, this year, called Banchou Tactics for PC on Steam. When Kitagawa Seiichi, the Demon King of Minato High School, graduated last year, the balance between the three rival schools was broken. Young high school gangsters from each school, Sakae High School, Nakamura Technical High School, and Minato High School, fight for dominance.
Yes.
This game will focus on the journey of one such gangster named Taiga Arashi.
Yes.
All right.
This reminds me of like, okay, so you know how obviously Three Kingdoms has three kingdoms.
Sure.
And then you have Triangle Strategy also has like three separate, faction, if you will, right? It's just
The
When
three
they talk
different
about-
houses, if you will.
Oh, the three houses, not the three houses, not three kingdom, three houses. Yeah, and so it's like, okay, like is that what they're drawing on? Like,
Why
these
not?
three high schools that are at war with each other? It's like, ooh, okay. I don't know.
Okay, well we have a trailer, and I was really excited about this one. So let's go ahead and watch the trailer again because it's been a minute. For anybody who hasn't got a memory for this title.
Banchou Tactics.
I wonder if this is part of the same series as like Kenka Bancho Badass Rumble. One of my favorite PSP titles. But yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because that was way more like a Yakuza game. But this game looks pretty dang rad regardless. Like just,
You know, that guy for a high schooler, he looks older than me.
well, I mean,
kinda-
smoking does that to a guy.
Dude looks like he's in his 40s, man. Like, he's supposed to be in high school though.
Yeah, so for anybody who was curious, the characters in the thumbnail came from this game. Just because this game looks so much fun, I had to throw them in there.
This game that looks fun.
It looks so much fun.
They got some what is it called? The JoJo sort of like reference going on there.
Oh, yeah. Like the 1,000 punches or whatever.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, not JoJo. Fist of the North Star.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
the one.
reference. So, man, that game looks fun.
it just reminds me of super buff people beating each other up in classic anime fashion. So yeah, that is a game that is already out. You can go get it on Steam right now. I don't know if it's coming to other platforms eventually. Probably. I feel like a lot of indies do.
We'll see.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, it would only feel right, honestly.
If it does well, it will go to different platforms, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or make more monies, right?
So that looks really fun. And
Mhm.
honestly, I don't do nearly enough tactical RPGs, but I feel like I do the weird ones. And this one might just be weird enough to fit the bill.
I think you should do it. Okay.
I think I'm gonna write that down actually, because that might be a thing I could do. Yeah.
Yes, do it. I think it's like $20 on Steam too. So for anyone who's like, oh, geez, you know what's great about indie games? They don't cost like a AAA game. You can get it and not feel like it's too painful. You know, even if it turns out to be not like great.
That's right.
Yeah, you won't be too mad about it. All right. Well, you know, that was from Fly High Works and Secret Character. And actually, the next piece of news, this new game announcement actually has to do with them again.
What?
So also from Fly High Works and Secret Character, who just released Banchou Tactics, you know, they also announced their next game, which is a very different experience. And the game is called Neko Odyssey. It is an adventure game that centers around a photographer's journey to take all the pictures of all the cats in town. It's a very cozy game. You should take a look at this. I was just like, what, is it the same people?
That already sorry to keep bringing this game back up, but that reminds me a lot of the game we talked about last week. That's also coming up from SourceForge. They also are doing the physical of oh God, what was it called?
A Space for the Unbound.
Yes, A Space for the Unbound. Because like I remember looking for all the cats. I think I found them all eventually.
I didn't find all the cat until I realized that there's a part where you have to talk to these underling cats, if you will. And I'd never talked to the underling cats. I'd only talked to the petable cats. So I missed some cats, and I was kind of upset that I missed some. Yeah.
Bummer. Okay, so
Bummer, yeah.
So for Baku to relive and reclaim his status as a as a cat talker, let's watch this trailer.
Yes. It's called Neko Odyssey. Oh no, wrong trailer.
No.
Wrong trailer. That is not Neko Odyssey.
That is oh, are you sure? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Neko Odyssey.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
It would have been pretty great though if it had the same mood as that other game.
This is from the maker of Banchou Tactics, by the way, everybody. This is same publisher, same developer.
I mean, are the two really that different?
I don't know. Are they?
No.
Are they?
Hang on. I gotta turn this up.
I'm waiting for a new game. It's gonna be called Neko Tactics. It'll just be these cats, but fighting for dominance. There you go. It's just
This is adorable.
yeah, it's just you running around taking pictures of cats. That's the entire game.
Okay, I feel like whoever is working at Fly High Works right now is making games for me and for my wife. and nobody else.
There you go. This game is called Neko Odyssey.
That is classic. That is
right.
That is so awesome. So yeah, that developer apparently is just making games for my family because that looks adorable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, when is that coming out?
That's coming out on PC via Steam sometime next year. They haven't specified a release date, but 2024. I mean, we got Banchou Tactics, man. That's gonna keep you busy for like a week.
Yeah, but what's my wife gonna do? She needs. It's kind of funny because
we have
Amy,
cat games. If she likes cat games, we have cat games. I can recommend a couple of cat games.
I don't want to recommend her your kind of cat games, Baku.
Okay, no, not little cat girl cat games, but like,
okay.
Did you know that there's a cat survival game where you play as a cat? You play as a stray cat, not stray,
Not Stray.
but it's made by a Korean developer. You play as a stray cat in like a 2D environment, and you walk around and you like.
I think we talked about it on stream, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
I think Amy might like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I thought you were talking about like Nekopata or something. I don't know.
No, none of that. Also, I still need to play Stray. Stray looks so good.
I
My
know.
friend said it was
It really
good.
does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Next up, this is a game.
Your favorite.
It is actually kind of. Mages and Team Grease have officially announced a new Corpse Party game called Corpse Party 2 Darkness Distortion, and it is planned to launch sometime in 2024. No platforms have been announced so far, though.
So far, yeah.
According to the producer, Yasuhiko Nomura, the title features a completely original story written by Makoto Kidoin, and features a new world, which is different from the previous Corpse Party games. So probably not going to involve Sachiko or a Heavenly Host Elementary or anything like that. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. and it is completely different from the newer PC version of Corpse Party 2. So this is Corpse Party numeral 2, like with the two eyes next to it, Roman numeral 2, not to be confused with Corpse Party
like
number 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Roman numeral 2, but not the other number 2. Yeah.
The other number 2.
I think that's that's sort of like the running joke right now, because there is a Corpse Party 2 on Steam
and
right
they're
now
just pretending
that
doesn't exist right now, I guess, huh?
I think they're pretending that one didn't exist, because you know what, that Corpse Party 2 never finished.
Did it not?
No. I bought the game. I played through as much as I can through it, which, by the way, that game, terrible. It's a terrible game. It's so bad. And then we're like, you get to a point, you're like, okay, there's got to be like a next part, and they're basically like, to be continued with like the next DLC. And you're like, okay, we'll wait for the next episode. The episode never came, and now they're like, oh, we're gonna release.
I guess
Corpse
all the
Party
bad endings were
2.
canon.
It's so bad. Do not buy the current Corpse Party 2. Do not. That game is garbage. Don't do it.
I
They're
feel
never going to
that
release
sucks
new
to
stuff
hear.
to it.
It sucks to hear that, but it's good
Yeah.
to know that. But it sucks to hear it because I really liked Corpse Party, like the first,
The original.
Blood Covered.
Yeah.
I think the PSP release. It was
Yeah.
it was DLC only. I think, sadly, on PSP, but I really enjoyed it. It's very creepy. I think it's on Steam now though. So
Yes.
so you could
All
play
on
it that
Steam.
way.
On Steam.
Just
yeah.
just don't get too. And I think, God, Blood Drive or was it Book of Shadows? God,
There
was another one.
games.
I reviewed a second one that was not good, and then I have a PS Vita one that I'm sitting on for a rainy day.
Honestly, I think Corpse Party, only the base in game is good. Like all the new like sequels that came out.
Yeah.
There are basically two. There's one that's basically like a what if, like a collection of what if stories slash like some, extra story with side characters just to give you a better appreciation for the game. That one's kind of like a pure visual novel. That one's not bad as long as you like visual novels. And then there's like a sequel game that's kind of like this like weird 3D kind of thing, but it just looks so like, dorky looking that like I can't take this game seriously. It just looks so not good. It doesn't look scary at all. There's nothing scary about it. It's just goofy. Yeah, there you go. They made it look so goofy that like I can't take the game seriously.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it was a bad one.
This is corpse2.jp.
Yes.
This is
The
the
website.
the Roman numeral 2 that I was talking about. So
Yeah.
there's the logo. Yep. And some moon
nothing
runes
scary.
for anybody. Yep.
Yeah. Nothing scary. Nothing horror about this. Of course, Party a scary game? No.
Some
nonsense.
handprints.
Mm.
Somebody ate some chocolate, some red velvet chocolate cake, and forgot to wash their hands
Yes.
before trying to open my sliding glass door. That's
Totally
what that
not
looks like.
blood at
Yeah.
all. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just red velvet cakes. No big deal. Okay.
All right.
So yeah.
Well, I'm actually kind of interested, but I guess we'll just have to see what happens when it comes out and if it sucks or not.
God, I
can't really take it for granted.
Yeah, I know.
But
it's such a shame.
I think it's time we move on to something that we've been hearing an awful lot about. We're going to dive into some of our discussion topics, and this one is very last minute. This is the one I didn't spend any time working on at all, because it was actually just before the stream started. Somebody in the chat mentioned something about Baldur's Gate 3 and how they'd really like it if we could discuss the game a little bit. And so right before the stream started, I was like, Baku, have you got anything to say about Baldur's Gate 3 that you feel is like worthy of discussion? have you got anything to say about this game? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
But then
I've never played it.
But then he thought on it for a minute. And I guess I kind of have some thoughts, but they're not. Baku and I have not yet played the game. I don't think Baku has any intention of playing the game currently. He doesn't even really know what it is.
Didn't even register.
Should I show you a trailer? I feel like I should show you a trailer.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, let me pull it up because Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of a D&D themed. I mean, I think it might even be a proper D&D title. Yeah. Let's see. Trailer. So, because it involves rolling of dice, it's wildly, immensely popular right now. I think that's one of the things that I had to tell Baku also, because it is not a JRPG. It is far away from Baku's periphery.
It's true. But many people have mentioned it. I will just say that I know it is a proper turn-based RPG, and so for anyone who thinks that turn-based is dead, I'm looking at a lot of game executives.
Yeah.
Maybe take note. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Let's just take a look at this trailer together real quick, just so you can kind of. I don't know if this has everything in it. I haven't actually looked at a trailer since it was maybe at E3 a couple years ago. Oh, it's probably also not for children, like in a big way.
In a big way. It's okay. We'll just watch. We'll watch a little bit of battle, and then we'll move on. I guess
about a 2-minute trailer here. This has been on my periphery for a while because.
Oh, I think I saw this on the Xbox show.
It threatens
Yeah.
Yes.
the weave, the very fabric of the universe itself.
How would you feel about helping me kill some evil bastards?
I mean,
Yeah.
that looks like a proper D&D situation.
It blesses me this day. Together.
Oh yeah, those are owlbears. That's definitely in the world of D&D.
Try. In mere moments, all that you have dreaded will come to pass.
Oh,
When
hello.
the screaming stops
Uh-huh.
and your mind is gone, the rest perhaps
Tasteful.
is
No battles?
silence.
Oh, no battle. Oh, so
Boo.
do you want to see like more?
I was hoping we can see the battles because that's the only thing I know about it.
Okay. Let me see if I can find a gameplay trailer.
Yeah. So Arabic numeral. Thank you. That's what it's called. Yeah, Arabic numeral. It was like on the tip of my tongue. I was just like, it's the Roman numeral and then some other numerals. Like, what is it?
Numeral.
Arabic numeral.
All right. So here's a gameplay trailer. So
Story, true soul. My life.
what's really interesting about this game at this point is that
When I tried to buy it back,
it's like the biggest game on Steam right now.
I must finish
Like more
what I
concurrent
started.
players
Death's design will
than
be complete.
I think it's like number 1 or number 2 on Steam. For a turn-based RPG, that is
Or turn-based RPG.
yeah, it is really something
Saying
else.
some.
Yeah. So you can
look
see
at
the
critical success. Ooh.
You're a pawn.
is that a mind flayer?
You cannot comprehend.
Ketherick is a frightening man, but you have something he doesn't. Allies.
Now I've been told that it's also pretty slow combat-wise,
Strike down the absolute.
so it's gonna be one of those
D&D
things.
slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you gotta go in with like the right expectations, I'm guessing. I actually have not been keeping up with this at all, but because it is the hotness in the RPG space right now,
Bow before me.
I feel like
Bow before the absolute. Bow.
I feel like we should at least be aware of it, right?
Oh yeah. No, it's just a lot of these things kind of like cross pollinate, like-
Absolutely.
yeah. So absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Just for whoever's the next person that tells you turn base is dead.
No, I've been
showed
told.
Baldur's Gate 3.
So this is a game that has no DLC, no microtransactions. It is basically chalked to the brim with things you can do, and you can do weird and wacky things. This game's already had its fair share of controversy for featuring a cutscene in which your character may choose to interact very intimately with a druid who can wild shape into various beast forms.
Oh no. No. I don't know where this is going.
It is wildly weird. So So yeah, it's already had its fair share of controversies, and they've already released several updates as far as like things like, gosh, there was a couple of them where your protagonists Twig and Berries might end up showing through their underpants sometimes in certain outfit configurations, so they had to do some hot fixes there, and things of that nature. It is not a child's game. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely no.
But the way that like a long time ago, the Witcher series was kind of like everybody's darling. I think that this is going to be that new RPG that is the darling of the masses. I could be mistaken, but it seems like there have also been articles or headlines where like allegedly developers are kind of sour over the fact that the game actually it just includes so much content for so little money, and sets an unrealistic expectation of various studios. I don't know if that's actually, I mean, there are some people who say that that's a thing. I don't know if there's any merit in that or not, but it's kind of funny. I'm just happy to see that RPGs, JRPGs or otherwise, are doing well, and it's a good time to be alive. So that's all I really wanted to say about Baldur's Gate 3, but that's just my impressions of it so far, and having not played it at all. It's going to be one of those games I think you could easily sink hundreds of hours into.
Different customization, different character builds. And what's that one other game that like was it also Baldur's Gate? There was like another game
from like 20 years ago. Like they haven't released a Baldur's Gate in a long time.
It's not Baldur's Gate. It's like this other game that's like kind of like a Diablo, kind of like isometric, and like you run around and you do
Diablo
like
3 came out, but
but it wasn't Diablo. I mean, Diablo 4 came out. That was that was
4.
Yeah,
4.
But but it's not Diablo. It came out before Diablo 4 for sure. And it's yes,
Divinity.
I think it's Divinity. Yeah. It's like thousands of builds. Like
people keep telling me I should play it because I keep wanting to play a D&D style game, as what I've said. And gosh, I have no excuses, honestly. I should play this game at some point.
No, it's like something Path or something.
The new Pathfinder, like Kingmaker.
Path of Exile. It's Path of Exile. It's Path of Exile. Now, see, PoE is like, what's PoE? Oh, Path of Exile. No, I think it's actually Path of Exile. Yeah, I just remember watching someone stream it, and then they looked at the, what is it called? Like the characters, the skill tree.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not a skill tree. That's a skill like map. Like that thing is huge. Yeah. So they're like, there's absolutely thousands and thousands of builds you can explore and test, and that's that many hours that you're gonna sink into the game. Thousands. Man. Yeah.
A little other like weird controversy that I've heard that from some people who are like, oh man, this game has so much content, but the maximum skill cap or the maximum level is so low because it's like level 12. But it's also people who don't understand that like a level in D&D is like a huge deal.
Yeah.
And it would take you like hundreds and hundreds of hours to get to level 12 in like a real campaign. And this is probably going to take a while to get you there too. Yeah.
True.
So anyways, I just thought that was super interesting. But we also have a whole other topic that Baku actually wanted to talk about. So, so you want to take it away from here?
Yeah, sure. So in an interview in gamesindustry.biz with the Take-Two Interactive CEO and chairman, Strauss Zelnick. I hope I'm pronouncing their name correctly.
Strauss
Zelnick?
Zelnick?
Yes.
Yeah, Strauss Zelnick is probably what I would say, but I could be wrong.
I could be very wrong. Anyways, they were discussing the Switch 2 and all the rumors, and we don't typically like talking about rumors, but Switch 2 is probably on the horizon. I think Nintendo has sort of given like a silent nod to like, yeah, okay, you got us this time. It's actually coming. So one thing that a lot of people are talking about is backwards compatibility. So here's what Mr. Zelnick has to say about it. In quote. You need to give customers what they want to optimize their experience, and you can't not deliver a feature you're able to deliver so as to maximize sales. In other words, what they're saying is, look, if you can deliver this feature, you can't not do it just so you can maximize sales.
Yeah.
That isn't fulfilling your contract with consumers.
And the contract that he's talking about is not like an actual written contract. He's speaking metaphorically.
Yeah. You have to do the very best you can for them. I suppose it's possible the lack of backward compatibility could enhance your revenue for a period of time, but at what cost?
What cost?
Now, yeah, we're not a hardware manufacturer, so we don't get to make those decisions. But I think you can be, if you can be compatible technically, then you want to be. However, in certain instances, if the leap forward is great enough, that's not a possibility, right? Yeah,
I disagree on that last one. I think that's a fundamental misunderstanding. Like, if it's a sufficient enough leap forward, you can emulate.
Exactly. You can build the emulation in there, right?
Especially on the subject of the Wii, or not the Wii, but the Switch. It's a smartphone. Let's be real. Yeah. This is a really old smartphone. Like, a modern laptop can emulate it. A modern Switch should be able to. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, when's the last time you're like, oh, I can't open Angry Birds on my modern phone because it's too powerful? Like, the architecture does not change. So as long as the Switch 2, the Super Nintendo Switch, as I like to call it, until I'm told otherwise, until then, like, as far as I'm concerned, it should be able to. Like, there's really no reason it wouldn't be able to, assuming that. And it sounds like they're doing another Nintendo Switch. So as long as it's also using the same, the architecture, what's it called? The processor, the ARM CPU. It should be fine. It should be meager to do so.
Yeah. So the thing is, back then, right? Like, especially the PS3 era, like that's probably like the worst timeline scenario, right? Where the architecture was just so wildly different and complicated.
8 cores back in 2006 was unheard of.
Right? But now, you know, now all these games are basically developed, you know, such a way that it's relatively easy to port over from one to another. Like, the architecture is extremely similar to basically just a PC.
Yeah.
It's not like the PlayStation 3 again, where like, oh, it's its own architecture. It's kind of weird and crazy. And it's super hard to develop for.
They have interchangeable parts, SSDs. Like, they operate on a PCI Express bus. Like, that is a computer.
It's basically a computer, right? So the architecture is a lot easier to, you know, if they wanted to do backwards compatibility, it shouldn't be difficult. It really, really shouldn't be difficult if they want to do it.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they want to do it, honestly, when it comes to Nintendo, I don't see why they wouldn't want to. And for two reasons, right? Number one, a lot of Nintendo's games are basically first party games, right?
Yeah.
So they can sell it like, oh, you can buy the digital version, right? If you want like less loading time, you don't want to switch cartridge, right? Or you know, it's just that adaptation, the adaption rate, like the install base is just that much easier. It's like, oh, you already have a bunch of games. Now you can have like a Switch 2 that play Switch 2 game, but also all your existing Switch games, right? And since they push like a lot of first party games, like it just doesn't bother them, I think, because it's easier for them to convince like third party to also release game on it if their install base is huge.
I think it's a win-win to include backwards compatibility because it acts as a huge incentive to the people who already have a huge install base for the Switch. That's what? How many consoles have sold? Like 15 million?
Some insane number.
Some crazy number. That is, I think it's beyond 15 million at this point. But basically that is 15 million households who have a Switch and Switch games that when it comes time to buy another console, if you have that backwards compatibility, it makes it a much more compelling argument to upgrade within the Switch ecosystem because you can continue to play the games. And I would hope that the Switch 2, the Super Nintendo Switch, whatever it is, I would hope that not only is it backwards compatible, but that it is able to enhance the Switch games. Because
that'd be nice. Yeah.
Because I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to change the internal resolution. Like it should be pretty straightforward. Like it might not work all the time. But I mean, I think a good part of the time though, it would be pretty straightforward to implement. At least to give you the option to run it and see what happens.
Yeah. It's just not as hard to offer backwards compatibility nowadays. Like PS5, PS4. PS5 is basically like a suited up PS4.
Yeah.
You can play like 98% of PS4 games on PS5, and for the other 2%, I honestly don't know why you couldn't.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing a PS4 can do that a PS5 could not. I can pop a PS4 disc in my PS5 and just play it right away, right? And so it's just if I had trouble looking for a PS5 game that I really want to play, I could just use it and play PS4 and just scale all the games up, right?
Yeah.
Or to a certain extent, anyways, not natively, maybe just what is it called? Like kind of like almost like acting like an upscaler, right? But it wouldn't be like a native to 4K, right?
Yeah.
But that's okay. But for the Switch, again, I just think that if they're able to keep that lead on the install base, they can always sell first party games.
Yeah.
Like that's the way to win, is for them to keep pushing their first party game, which is plenty and abundant of IPs, and all the games that they set, all they push, they usually do well. Like even the worst performing first party games easily outsell like many other like Square Enix games, for example. Like they don't even compare.
Like the new Mario Strikers or whatever that they threw out there. They didn't support it at all.
Nope.
There's not really any compelling. Yep, it's sold anyway.
It still sells
because it's Mario.
Because it's Mario, yeah. Mario Kart, just like I mean, never mind the good games, right? Like Mario Kart, Zelda, Kirby, like you name it, right? The next Mario Party, whichever that would be, they all sell. So I think focusing on keeping that install base is their prime strategy.
I also feel like there's no reason, and this is probably the more likely scenario. I bet that if there is any sort of incompatibility that they do implement, it's probably going to be in the form of the Switch card slot. But I feel like, again, there's really no reason to.
There's no reason to.
It's just like 5 or 6 pins that connects you to flash storage. Like it is
the
takes up no space.
thing.
It takes up no space
implement.
at all. Yeah. And it's not like flash storage is like going out of style either.
Yeah, they can take a page of what they did with
the DS
3DS.
And 3DS.
Yeah, the DS and 3DS. You can still play the DS game, and 3DS just has like an extra notch or something that tells the system, oh, this is a 3DS thing versus like a regular DS thing. And if you try to plug the 3DS carts in a DS, it just won't fit, right? Because it's a little wider or something. it's just something like that would solve your problem. It's not like they haven't done it. They don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. So
You know?
I really hope that Nintendo takes the easy W here,
Oh yeah.
but time will tell.
I do have a question for folks though. Like, how much do we actually use backwards compatibility? Like, we want it, but
God,
is
I
this
use
one
it
of
all
those
the time.
things? Do you?
I mean, yeah. If you want to hear from the audience first, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there first, but
No. You're good, man.
yeah, sorry to cut in line, everybody. But I use it all the time on my PlayStation 5. As soon as I bought it, it became my best PlayStation 4. Because I had a PS4 standard, but now I've got the best PS4 Pro that ever was, and it's silent and it runs really well.
Yeah.
You know, I used my Wii to play GameCube games in higher resolution. Like that was like just a no-brainer. Like, of course I would do that.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I have all my stuff in my PS4, and I just keep playing my PS4 because it's too much of a hassle to move all the save files and try to keep 2 copies.
I still have my backwards compatible PlayStation 3, so I can play PS1 and PS2 titles over HDMI directly into my capture card. Like,
Nice.
It is so nice to have the ability to only maintain certain consoles, because you're like, okay, this can do this, this, and this. That means I have, 30% of the plastic housed in my home that I need, where space is at a premium.
Right.
Because of all the video games that I have. I have too many video games to have a console for all of them.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, I think it makes sense to have multitaskers, that can do multiple things. So my PS4 also, I guess, can it play PS1 games? I can't even remember.
Also PS5 memory costs more than PS4. That was the other problem. It's like, yeah, I have a lot of games already installed in PS4. If I want to do the exact same thing for my PS5, it's going to take forever. And, M.2 just costs more than a hybrid internal drive.
Not anymore. I mean,
not anymore. So that's changed since I first got my PS5. That has changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I just haven't seen a whole lot of use personally, because I have all my old consoles and they're perfectly functional. I was just like,
I recommend it.
Take the time to do it. Yeah, but I mean, I still play my PS5. It's just I actually used it to play PS5 titles. Games. Yeah, I sold
Wait,
all
you have PS5 titles?
I do.
I have one more than I did a week ago. I think I have 3.
A lot of the newer games I bought in PS5. Like if they have a PS5 version, I bought a PS5 version instead of the PS4 version. Yeah. There's no reason for it other than because I can. So like Tokyo, was it Ghostwire Tokyo? I think it's like the first like proper PS5 title, and it needed it.
Yeah,
it absolutely needed it. It's either a PC or PS5. Like you're not getting away with the PS4. The level of graphics fidelity in that game, and just replicating basically the entire Shibuya area, like block by block. I just don't think it's something that the PS4 would be able to handle. But it looks gorgeous in PS5. But yeah, just I think that's the question for folks. Like, how much do you actually care about backward compatibility? Like, not how much do you want it to be an option? Because I certainly want it to be an option, because whether or not I use it, that's my discretion, right? But if it's there, then I can choose to use it or not, right? Rather than you can't do it, period. But how many people actually do use it on a regular basis? I see a lot of people say yes, but let me know in the comments, because it's going to be hard for me to catch all the chats.
It kind of also ties into a topic we spoke of a couple weeks ago, which is video game preservation.
Yes.
Not only from the perspective of preserving the video games themselves, but the hardware itself as well. Someday we will run out of PlayStation 1s. I mean, granted, they're probably easier to repair than PlayStation 3s. Honestly, we'll probably run out of PlayStation 3s long before PlayStation 1s, because
the original PS3, like the giant, that thing is huge.
That's what I use, and I really hope that it stands the test of time, because nothing can play a PlayStation 3 game except a PlayStation 3. like
Take care of the disk drive.
but PlayStation 1 games, you could play that on just about everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a CD.
You can play PlayStation 1 games on a PlayStation Portable. Not physically, but it has like the built-in juice to do it.
Yeah.
And it does so like flawlessly. It's great.
Yeah.
And the PS Vita can play PSP games flawlessly as well.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I hope that these console makers will
Continue the
stop-
course. I'm
yeah,
hoping.
stop looking backward compatibility like it's kind of a
Like a
side
burden.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like this is the thing that's gonna help your system be successful. Trust
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, we do have some other things to talk about. So let's go ahead and talk about some community projects that have been going on. So I never heard of this game before. What is this? Like a Dragon Black Panther. What is that?
What is that?
So, fan group Team K4L have announced that their English translation of the 2010 Yakuza game, PSP title, spin-off Kuryo.
It's a hard word to pronounce.
Kurohyo.
Kurohyo, yeah.
Kurohyo. Okay.
Yes.
Hyuga Gotoku Shinsho Like a Dragon Black Panther is now available. The translation is what?
Yeah, I'll let you guess what kurohyo means.
Well, Kyo. I mean, Kyo probably black. I don't know.
It's Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
I figured you would get it after reading the English title.
Thank you. So I mean, I don't know if they did a good job translating the title or not.
Yeah, sometimes these localizations just terrible.
They could have botched it.
No,
Anyways,
it stands for Black Panther. Yeah.
So the fan translation is not 100% complete, as the group is currently working on finishing all of the hostesses content, which you got to get that.
This is they're like 98% there. So they just got a little bit of things that they're working on, but the game is mostly translated.
Yeah. Well, you want to take a look at the trailer that they put out for it?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Because we have one of those.
Yeah. So this game was never released in the West, of course. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to go through all this trouble to do this localization. We've actually talked about this fan group before when they started doing the translation. And now we're talking about it again because they released the translation. So they're done. You can now play Black Panther 1 and 2 with the English patches. And they didn't show off some of their patches works.
Yeah. Did we see a trailer for this already a long time ago?
We did. Yeah, when they first announced that they were going to do the localization.
Yeah.
And now they're releasing it.
Man, we've been at this game for a while.
We've been. Dude, I mean the font and everything, it looks pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like if that's just like in game.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. So what kind of game is this?
So it is a Yakuza spin-off, so of course it plays a lot like Yakuza. It follows a guy named I think his name is Ukyo. He is an underground fighter, but obviously has ties to the Yakuza world. And he is also known as like the Black Panther, like in the ring, right?
Okay.
And he can do a lot of things that are very similar to all the Yakuza, like all the ridiculous Yakuza-ness that you would expect from the base game are kind of there.
Hey, gambling, I'm in.
Gambling's there. It focuses more on one-on-one combat, is what I've been told. Instead of
instead of groups. That makes sense.
Yeah.
The PSP is a little limited in its processing power by today's standards. That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
That doesn't look too bad at all.
So anyone who is interested in really completing that Yakuza experience and just want to get all the different side games and get all the stories in, well, now you have 2 other games that you can play. Providing that, of course, you are able to get the file somewhere. We're not going to tell you where to get that. You should own the game, guys. Okay.
Yeah, get
This
it
is just
on
this is just the
eBay.
translation. Yeah, this is a translation patch. They're not going to give you the game. That's illegal. Stop it.
That's right. don't do illegal things, everybody.
Yeah, don't do illegal things, guys. Please
Stop breaking laws. You're making game developer. Ryuga Gotoku is going to cry. The whole company is going to cry.
I'm going to cry. Support RGG.
Support the official release.
Yeah, but also maybe support the fan site that the translation. They put in a lot of work for free.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
translate everything, put it in, make it work.
no small undertaking.
Yeah, it's free. So it's all love. I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for like not just indie developer, but also these like fan community groups that just like they're doing so much for basically just the love of it. So,
I know. Like,
you gotta respect that.
The other week I talked about how much I adore indie studios for being able to to throw it all on the line, and oftentimes they fail, but make something really incredible. And a lot of them, unfortunately, just don't make it all the way to release. And the same goes with a lot of fan translation patches and things like that. A lot of them they get started and things happen. So when you see something finally come to fruition after, a long project, man, it's always so awesome to see that.
I know.
Against all the odds. Those are the real underdog stories that always get me going.
Yeah. Well, here's another one, man. Like, so I'm definitely going to be playing this probably on my off time. I just want all of the Yakuza experience. So I'm just a huge fan.
Gotta catch them all. Yep.
Gotta catch them all. All right.
Yakuza.
You laugh, but do you remember there's this mini game like a
Sujimon.
Yes. With that professor, you walk in and he's like, "Here, choose your starter," and then there's just like 3 guys in like a red, blue, and green T-shirt. You're just like, "What?"
Yep.
Oh, I remember that. Okay, so for our last piece of news, we've got a bit of a merch drop from Konami. Actually, do you want to take a look at my screen really quick?
Sure. There we go.
So, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Suikoden 2, Konami has partnered up with Super Groupies to release a couple of items inspired by characters Riol, Joey, and I think is
Luke.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've always struggled to pronounce his name. Is it Luck or is it Luke?
It's got to be Luke.
It's Luke. I remember reading the Japanese as Luke. So we've got a watch. We've got a bag, and
It looks like a Tommy
I think
Hilfiger
that's
bag.
This a little bit, right? A little bit. Except it's got like the the logos and whatnot. But I think this is pretty cool for if you know someone in your life who is pretty fashion forward, but also like a diehard like Suikoden nerd. I think this would make for like pretty nice gifts, I think, for them.
Man, I think it'd be really pretty cool to get a watch like that, except that I couldn't wear my digital my
It's actually a really cool looking watch.
Like if you get a watch like that, you can't wear an what do they call it, the Apple Watch or whatever.
Oh, Apple Watch.
Yeah, that's the problem with having really cool like smartphones basically on your wrist, is that everything else kind of looks a little pedestrian.
I mean, you know what? Sometimes they can look pretty classy.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. But I mean, like, you're not gonna wear it as your daily driver, right? Like, because you don't want to get it messed up, and then by the time you go to put it on, the battery's dead because the last time you wore a watch was like 3 years ago, and you're just like, oh crap,
Don't you hate that?
Oh no, it's an analog clock. people will be able to tell if it's not actually working. I better, I used to back when I would like interview for jobs and stuff. I would wear an analog watch, and I would just hope that nobody ever noticed that just was not ticking.
No, I wear watches all the time that ran out of battery and just doesn't move.
Oh yeah.
And then they're like, "Why do you wear it?" Because it's a fashion thing. Why do you wear bracelets? They don't do anything. Just
I don't know
treat
what you're
this
talking
like
about. Who wears bracelets even?
people apparently.
I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I would just like I would be so paranoid that people would like judge me for wearing a watch that wasn't working that I would find out when's the interview. Okay, say the interview is at like 9:30. Oh, and it'd probably take about a half hour. So how about I set the watch to 9:45? That way, on average, the watch looks like it's at least within a few minutes of accurate. If anybody notices like in the middle of the interview or something.
Okay, you know what? For anyone who is gonna bother to look at your watch, I think you should. I think you should leave.
Oh yeah, I agree. But I mean, people will if you need a job. I mean, probably not. But but the other thing is like people will disqualify you for anything these days. It's bizarre. Like
That is bizarre. Who's gonna get mad at you for having a watch that doesn't work?
I don't know. Maybe they'll be like, well, that guy isn't going to be very punctual. His watch is 10, 15 minutes off.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh wow. Just I cannot. I cannot.
I broke Baku. Baku is as broken as my watch.
Yeah, some people are just so petty.
I know. But hey, that I think about does it for merch drops. So let's go to Super Chats and respond to some of these that have been piling up over the course of today's episode.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Starting with this one from Bring Back Fluffy Dogs, who says, backwards compatibility is great to have. My PS3 makes playing PS1 through 3 games on modern TVs. It's cut off. On modern setups beyond easy. I like simple. I like simple too.
I also like simple. Simple is great.
Yeah, and getting razor sharp pixels out of old games on modern TVs is a costly endeavor, as I've been finding out as I've been messing around with scalers over the course of 10 years on YouTube, trying to make the most vividly and most accurate captures as possible for my reviews and things. It's like it's a cycle that never ends. It's a treadmill. Like there's always a bigger, better scaler out there, and you can get some incredible things working with those. But just having a device that just looks good on a modern TV as is out of the gate, it's so nice.
But hold on, isn't that's that Retro Link 3 or something, or V5, or like what was that one
Oh, are you talking about the Retro Tank?
Retro Tank? There you
the
go.
5X. Yeah.
5X, yeah. Isn't that sort of like the be all end all at this point?
Oh, sure. If you want to call it quits there. But what if you want to downscale?
Oh my god.
If you want to if you want to downscale games that run on like a PC and put them on your CRT television without any lag, because that's a whole other rabbit hole. And also technically the Retro Tank can also do that too, I found out recently. So that's kind of fun. Yeah. But yeah, apparently now there's a Retro Tank 4K that is also coming out. So because this one only does 1080p. Like what am I, some kind of schmuck? Only doing 1080p on my Super Nintendo. I gotta play Super Nintendo in 4Ks.
Oh my god, that is so extra.
So, support the stream. No, I'm just kidding. So, bro gave us a super chat with no message, but then they followed it up with another one that says, Baku, I love you.
Love you too, man.
So then we got another one from Fluffy Dogs who says the Switch's install base is our only hope. Oh, our only hope for backwards compatibility for the new Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so. If they don't want to lose out on that install base, they better deliver, you know?
And unfortunately, and you know how I struggled a little bit when I said our only hope? It's because it was a typo, and he put in another one that was a correction to the typo. Fluffy, you don't have to send the but I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for being
I figured it out. I got there eventually.
grammatically correct.
And then finally they say, Baku, the people request that you halt any slander or hinting toward disliking backwards compatibility. Thank you in advance for your compliance.
Hey, I like backwards compatibility. I just don't know how much. I don't know how much we actually use it, because it's one of those things where it's basically like Netflix password crackdown. Basically, it's like, yeah, people say they're gonna leave, but then they saw like a rise in, like, you know, people signing up because they're like, oh, I hate you, but I'm still going to
there is a difference.
Account.
There's definitely a large difference between what people say that they do and or will do and things that they actually do.
Yeah.
And I think that, was it Sony who did some backwards compatibility survey some time ago. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was on the PlayStation 3 to find out how often it is that people actually use the backwards compatibility feature, and decided, you know, according to some bean counter, that it was like only, you know, like 10% of their audience ever used it ever. You know,
Right.
But I'm that 10%. Finally, I'm the 1%. I'm that guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember a time where I like played a lot of like backwards compatibility game, and like I think the only time that I ever did that was between the 3DS and the DS.
Yeah.
That was it. I didn't really do a whole lot of like, you know, playing a PS1 game on a PS2, for example. I was like, I didn't do a whole lot of that. Like whatever system I got, I played a game that was like made for that system. And I'm not saying that, you know, you shouldn't play games. I'm just recounting my own usage, and
I get what you're
don't
saying.
recall it. Yeah, I don't recall doing it.
Now, take into consideration also to play Baku's advocate here.
Baku's advocate.
to play Baku's advocate here for a moment.
Go on.
We are not your standard typical players of video games. You and me, and just between you and me and 70, 80 other people in the chat right now.
It's true.
We players of retro games are kind of weird in the grand scheme. The gaming industry does not understand us. And I get that. I get it. We are a weird bunch. We'll buy things from 10, 15 years ago for 3 times as much as it would have cost if we bought it new. You know, we are weird, and we are loud.
Weird.
And we are loud. We can be very loud.
It's true.
But I mean, if you think about the typical gamer, you know, how many times does the typical gamer go back and play Halo 1?
Yeah, you know, that's just the thing. It's like, how many people are going back to play old games when there are perfectly new games for them to play?
There's probably a few. I'm not saying
there's a few.
I'm not saying it's none, but when you think of like the average gamer, and I know a lot of us, it's in our instinct to say, I am average. If you, I hate to tell you guys, if you're here, you are above average. Let me tell you that.
You're part of the elites.
That's right. Yeah.
You see,
we're a little bit different. But so yeah, I totally understand the video game developer's perspective, or the perspective of the person trying to sell the thing. Is like, is it going to cost us money? Is it going to save us money? Is it going to make us more money than it costs? Like, that's what a business has to like do the calculus to figure out if it's like, if, will we have a much better easy install base transitioning from the old system to the new system because of the existing games? Or is this going to hinder us in the long run by not being able to remonetize our assets on the new systems? So
yeah. Again, I just think that nowadays the architecture is so standardized that it's just so much easier to emulate and play and offer backwards compatibility.
It is so standard that if they didn't include it for whatever reason, I guarantee that the Switch 2 will be hacked and be made to be backwards compatible with all of the free games that are on the internet somewhere.
It's like either do it or we do it.
Exactly. It's not a choice at this point, guys. This is our hardware, and we will do with it as we please.
Yeah, I think more than practicality is a matter of goodwill at this point. For from developers, like for hardware makers, it's not so much how many people will actually use this. That's not important. Is how many people will think they will use it, because
that's true.
That's how many people who will be mad at you if you don't give them the thing that they think they will use. Never mind if they will use it or not.
Oh yeah, I mean
that doesn't matter. Yeah, that's what I come to understand.
Every Ford F-150 can go off road, but how many of them ever do? And I'm not talking about just going over a curb in a parking lot. Every Mustang can go over 130 miles an hour. How many ever do? People don't buy things because of what they plan to. I know. I'm sure. I mean, so have I. But and I did it in a Dodge Stratus.
God,
which is a little scary.
I was like,
but listen, the point is, like, people don't buy things based on what they do every day. They don't buy things based on what they actually want to do. People buy aspirations, I think.
That's true. Gym memberships.
Yeah, people buy gym memberships. I feel personally attacked. Haven't been to the gym in a month, but it's been really hot. Okay, it's been really hot and really humid, and I'm just gonna go, as soon as I find the time.
I had a gym membership. I came to realize that I won't ever use it. I dropped the gym membership.
But I think you raise a really excellent point, though. Yeah, people buy things that they want to do, and people want to replay their old games from time to time. And I think that's a stellar point.
Yeah, when they want to, when they ever have the time and will to do it, they will do it. But don't tell them they can't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
man,
we got one more here from Magus, who says,
"Hello,
Derek. How was Cold Steel 4? Or are you still taking a break? Looking forward to your Cold Steel 3 review. Great show as always."
Ooh, thank you.
So I'm still taking a break. I have not yet embarked on Cold Steel 4. The Trails of Cold Steel 4 right now is my carrot that I'm using to motivate myself to get through all of the games that I've already finished that I need to review. I feel like a lot of people are also ready for me to talk about something other than Trails of Cold Steel. And I have, I've got Yakuza Like a Dragon that I've got footage just eating up hard drive space. I need to do that review. I've already written my review of Cold Steel 3, in fact. Oh yeah, I've also got Reverie waiting. Yep, thanks for the reminder.
You're welcome.
But yeah, I will get to Cold Steel 4, but that is my motivation. I'm gonna eat all my vegetables. Did I just call Yakuza 7 a vegetable? Maybe. Before I eat my dessert. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just trying to get through my backlog of reviews and get caught up with my overarching plan.
Yeah, so. What you mean to say is that Yakuza 7 or Like a Dragon is wholesome.
Yeah.
And like, vegetables good for you. Eat your veggies. Play like a dragon. What are you doing?
I think you're gonna really love the opening line of my review of Yakuza Like a Dragon, but I think you'll all have to wait to find out what that is until, well, a little later on.
I'll like it when I get to watch it.
Oh, Flippy Dogs just asked, did VGP deliver your Trails reprints, Baku?
I did. I got it maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. I got it a while ago. Yeah, it didn't
really?
just come in. Yeah, I got it a while ago.
Flippy Dog says they got theirs today.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Oof. Wow.
Well, at least they're there. But thank you so much for asking. Yeah, I got mine, like 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know when I'll play them, but it's there.
Well, you got to get through Persona 5 first, right?
Aspiration, am I right?
Well, if you aspire to see our next episode of HitPoint, make sure you get subscribed and give us a thumbs up or a nice review on whatever podcasting platform you are on. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I certainly have. Baku, have you got any closing thoughts for the people today?
I should go back to the gym.
Me too. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care.